for 8 years. This is the 8th year. I think I've served you well because 103,000 of you all voted for me 4 years ago to be your sheriff, and so I want to thank you if I haven't thanked you. I think what I'd like to do, rather than you hear it from me and you've heard it from me before, unless you have specific questions, I think I'd like for a couple of my deputies to come up and let them talk about Vernon Best as sheriff. Is that okay with you all? Let's get a different perspective. Or you want to hear from me? You want Vernon to talk, and you want to know that I have 2 degrees. I'm a graduate of Harris Teachers College. I was St. Louis public school teacher for several years. I left teaching, went into corporate life. I did 30 years at Ameren and retired. But I have a degree in education and a degree in law enforcement. I'm post-certified. That's one of the highest levels of training that you can get. Every law enforcement person in the United States is post-certified, except for some of the people that's running for sheriff in the city of St. Louis and some of the people in St. Louis. So I want you to listen to what people have to say and challenge folks on their skill level and education. This is not a fly-by-night job. Folks, I get a chance to walk with people in high-level places, the governor and all kind of politicians and stuff like that. And you want somebody that's going to represent you and represent you well. And I've done that for the last 8 years. If my people clap for me, we'll be here all night. But I appreciate that. I'm on all kind of organizations. I'm a St. Louis boy, born and raised. I'm on the executive board of the NAACP, member of the Urban League, 100 Black Men. That's an organization that mentors young black men. I'm a member of the National Child Safety Council. I go into the schools, since I have a degree in education, I go into the schools and I talk to the kids about drugs and gun safety and bullying and all that kind of stuff. And that's my way of giving back to the community, although I'm no longer a school teacher, but I taught, like I said, for several years in St. Louis public schools. I'm from a family of teachers. And so we've dedicated our life and time to serving the citizens of St. Louis, especially in the educational field. Couple of things, and then I'm gonna let somebody else talk, but we've had deaths at the jail. Whenever we had riots at the jail, my deputies and I were the first to go in and subdue, quell the riot and get those inmates back in line. We've done that. As we speak, my deputies are working MetroLink. As we speak, we're getting ready to go back to working, which we've done these last 4 years, with the St. Louis Police Department. We've supplemented the St. Louis Police Department, working on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. They are about 300 officers short, and we've been kind of picking up the slack a little bit, I believe. And in that experience, we've done just about everything. Take guns off of folks. The young man that just got killed the other day in St. Louis, we had just taken him, Tony helped me, we had just taken him to the hospital. Instead of St. Louis, you holding him for the 96 hours that we should have held him, they let him go, and then he came out. And this is a young man that was just shot downtown last week on the streets. If they had held that young man the length of time that they were supposed to, he may still be living. But we're involved, the Sheriff Department, in picking up those folks that you see downtown on the streets loitering. We sometimes have to pick them up depending on the court order, get them to the hospital. So the St. Louis Sheriff Department is involved. That was what I was hoping we could do once I became the sheriff. And so there are no sporting events that go on in the city of St. Louis that the St. Louis Sheriff Deputy is not involved. So we're involved. We do the money. Neil, we do the money.
Yes, sir.
Money. We at all the sporting events, we collect the money and all that kind of stuff. So that's about it. I think I'm in and out of here on a regular basis. If you got anything you want to see me about, or you want me to say, throw it at me. Yes.
What would you say your biggest challenge is as sheriff?
My biggest challenge in just about anywhere you work, and I said I worked for Ameren, I retired as a supervisor out of the information technology function. My biggest challenge is personnel. Keeping up with the personnel. So you're gonna get somebody that's gonna get up and, the people of this, the people of that. The problem with maintaining personnel, deputies in the city of St. Louis, is because they only, starting salary is $34,600 a year, pennies. The next highest salary, the next salary closest to us, St. Louis Police Department, they start off at 54. That's almost a $20,000 difference, Congressman. How can I keep deputies when they can go other places and make more money? And so that's just what's been happening. I've had 46 to leave me last year and almost 20 so far this year. And we've been keeping up with keeping the courts safe and all that, but personnel is my biggest issue. I need you all to help me jump on the Board of Aldermen. I don't say that real low because my friend Ann Schweitzer is here. Well, I need you all to help me with that. You know, we gotta get those guys paid, you all. They've been suffering too long. Lowest salary of all the agencies in the St. Louis region. St. Louis Sheriff Department is the lowest. We're lower than Franklin County, Jefferson County, St. Charles, all that. We gotta get those salaries up, and I guarantee if we can get those salaries up, an equitable salary, a competitive salary, then I don't think personnel would be my biggest issue. Question?
Yes, I heard you mention something about you guys. Sheriff Butler was one of the first to look into the Justice Center when it was rising.
Yes.
Question I have is what caused it to start rising? I'm one who, believe in trying to prevent violence more so than trying to prevent it.
Well, you watch the news, you see.
Yeah, you gotta stand. I mean, good firm answer.
Yeah, well, if you watch the news, not coming from me, but coming from them. Those folks were disgruntled with food and the way they were being treated and housing and all that kind of stuff. And I'll tell you right now, they're not happy today, and neither am I. The Justice Center is a maximum security. Hall Street was minimum security place, and those inmates that were that's housed down there now would rather be out on Hall Street, but of course, we've closed that down. They got a chance to go outside, exercise, basketball, and all that kind of stuff. Now at the Justice Center, they get maybe an hour or so of recreation, and that you can't chain up a person like that. You don't do an animal like that. But that's what we got. That's what we got. Now,
not a shot at you or anything. I just wanted to know.
No, that's a good question, my friend. Yeah, if you didn't know, you didn't know. But yeah, they were not happy with a whole lot of issues down there.
That could have been prevented.
Huh?
That could have been prevented.
It could have been prevented. It could have. If I had been in charge of the Justice Center and the jail, and you all know, most places the sheriff is your chief jailer. Only in St. Louis do we do things backwards. So the sheriff is not the chief jailer. Everywhere else in the state of Missouri, you have a sheriff that's the chief jailer. And if I had been the chief jailer, my friend, if they let me have that jail tomorrow, I guarantee you, in 1 year, I'll renovate that place and have it looking like the Taj Mahal. I'll get all those inmates into some kind of educational class. I'm a teacher, that's what you do. I'd have them in some kind of class. They're doing it other places. It's no secret, it's not magic. But we just decided, the leadership here, we're gonna close everybody in at the Justice Center, for 23 hours a day. And yeah, you're gonna have people disgruntled. The other little thing about that whole thing, when they decided to close down Hall Street, the workhouse as we call it, we lost a $15 million contract with the federal government. And that's something that I would bring, you say I said I could fix that place up, because that's what I would use. I would use that federal government money. Now, we get involved in transporting the federal government. You all know the federal building downtown. When they gotta have court, they gotta go somewhere way down in Missouri and get the inmate and bring him up here and all that kind of stuff, wasting taxpayer money. We shouldn't have to do that. Let me have the Justice Center, let me have the Hall Street, and I'll take all the federal prisoners out there. I've already talked to Marshal John Jordan, we talked about that, so that and wondered why we didn't do that. But that was a decision that the mayor made, and all that. But I could take that place and turn it around, and the city would make money, I guarantee you. Yes, sir.
Sheriff, you still have 4 minutes. Did you still want to have your deputies come up and speak in your behalf?
No, I think I.
Okay.
Taking too much time. I'll give the rest of the time to questions.
Okay.
Questions, Reverend? Yes, sir.
Sheriff, I heard you mention the equitable pay for the deputy sheriffs.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything in the works to help eliminate underpaid deputy sheriffs?
Yeah.
Anything in the works?
Yeah, there was something in the works, and unfortunately, our legislature up in Jeff City hassled with each other, the Republicans against the Republicans. We had a bill in place, and if that bill had got passed, it was attached to some other bill. If they had passed that, my deputy's salary would have went, we were hoping, from the 54,600 to 50,000, which still would put us below the St. Louis Police Department. Your correctional officers are making 45 as we speak. You're a correctional officer, you're making more than a sheriff deputy, you don't even carry a gun. But that's the inequity that we got. But yes, we got that bill in place, but it didn't pass. The session closed this past Friday, didn't get our bill passed, but we're gonna go after that again. Now the only other thing I can do is again, lean on my board of aldermen and hope I can get them to help me. So yeah, so that's my next recourse, is to go to the board of aldermen and see if I can get some kind of help there. Question? 2 minutes left.
I have a question,
Yes, ma'am.
Sheriff. Is it true that the judges are seeking to hire their own bailiff?
No, it's not true.
Okay,
No, it's not true.
okay.
And, we had a little this and that, the judges got mad, they wanted to, as it's tough to see you bring it up. So they got mad because I wouldn't supply a deputy in every courtroom. I didn't have the deputies to supply in every courtroom. But I was making sure that wherever there was court, we had a deputy, but we got 1 or 2 judges that, they didn't like that. So they want a deputy in every courtroom, even if the deputy is not doing anything. Let him sit there on his phone, waste taxpayer money, let him sit there on his phone and all this stuff. And I said I wasn't gonna do it. I wasn't gonna do it. So the judges decided that they're going to threaten the sheriff. We're gonna hire our own deputies. City Hall shot that down. City Hall said, no, you're not. You ain't hiring. We're trying to pay the sheriff deputies we got. We can't hire anymore. And since that young lady brought it up, this 22nd Judicial Circuit, I think they have some issues. I think there's somebody gonna be looking into how many judges we actually have and how many we actually need. And so maybe you may hear more about that. Keep your ears open. Last one, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you very much, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Okay. And now I would like to introduce Alfred Montgomery.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for having me today. Just for informational purposes only, how many Carondelet residents do we have in here today? Can I see a show of hands? Look around, ladies and gentlemen. Show of hands. Let's keep your hands up. Ladies and gentlemen, look around. All right.
Holly Hills.
Holly Hills. Holly Hills. Let's see. All right. All right. Look around. Look around. All right. So Holly Hills and Carondelet. My name is Alfred, and keep that vision in your head. My name is Alfred Montgomery. I'm a former deputy sheriff. I'm a father of 2 and a husband. I have a bachelor's in sociology, an associate's in theater directing. In my career, I worked in Jeff City as a liaison for Senator Nasheed, lobbied for a bill, the number is Senate Bill 652, and that was to recognize the St. Louis City Sheriff's Office as a law enforcement agency. Before then, the City Sheriff's Office was a gray area. It wasn't recognized as security, law enforcement, or anything other than that. But we changed that. We changed that because we knew that we wanted a more effective and efficient sheriff's office here in our city. You fast forward to today, you have deputies that's leaving back to back, and we wonder why. You have deputies that's going to the current administration house and throwing their uniforms in his door and saying, I quit. You have deputies who are quitting because they are being forced to work on a political campaign for political propaganda. If you think I'm not telling the truth, look back. Those are sheriff deputies who are forced to come out and pass out literature on your dime, your tax dime, your tax dime.
That's not true.
Excuse
That's
me.
not true.
Excuse me.
That's a lie.
Excuse me.
No.
Excuse me. If we have one more yell out, I'm walking out.
Fine.
Okay? We can't have
Have
it.
a
But
good night.
Guys, let's give him the floor.
so listen.
Guess what? If he's gonna sit up there and lie, I'm not gonna stand here and listen to him. So no, you're not gonna stop.
We had an open floor
Alfred,
for both
listen,
candidates.
if you wanna leave, leave. But if you're gonna lie,
Sheriff,
go somewhere else.
Listen, excuse me.
It's open floor for you.
Okay, wait. Let's do this right here. Let me make something clear, okay? I want to be real clear, okay? My name is Alfred Montgomery. Not only am I running for sheriff, but this is my neighborhood. I just purchased a house right down here in Holly Hills. So if you want to leave, get out the door. But right now, we need some law and order here in our city, the same way that we need law and order here in our community, the same way that we need law and order here in our sheriff's office. And if we have sheriff deputies who act like that in a community meets, they will act like that on the street. I have stood on the front lines fighting for equal opportunities, fighting for criminal justice reform, to make sure that individuals are treated with respect. No matter if you are white, black, blue, or purple, able or disabled, you deserve to be treated fairly and equally. In our criminal justice system, you are innocent until proven guilty. Now, to get to the platform, we have had 12 deaths in our jail. 12 deaths, totally unacceptable. My plan is to take over the city jail. The sheriff was right. The sheriff is the head jailer of any county. But we just had a candidate forum last week, and the sheriff himself said, I don't want that problem. They can keep that problem. I'm the future sheriff that will take on the jail. I'm the future sheriff that has a plan for a reentry program. If you lock an individual up at the age of 16 years old, and you keep him for 10 years and you release him, he's the age of 26 without any training, any job training, and no way to live out on the street. But with my reentry program, we won't release them until they're educated. And if you're going to incarcerate them, you're going to educate them. Now, I am here with faith and determination to step up to the plate for you and your children and their children's children. With honesty and integrity, your tax dimes have been misused in our sheriff's office. Not only have they been misused, but we have, as a city, have not approved the sheriff's office to charge civil process server a $500 fee. The judges have not approved the sheriff's office to charge a $500 fee to those individuals who want a process server. My plan is to eliminate that process serving fee. It will be eliminated. Right now, we have an account, or several accounts, that's not accounted for. We need to know where the money is. The first 100 days in office, I plan on an audit, a statewide audit, because you deserve to know. It's time that you don't allow the sheriff deputies, the sheriff's office to put a quill over your eyes, and you have to pay attention to what our office can be used for. Now, with that being said, our city police department is short-staffed. We understand it's short-staffed everywhere. But our sheriff's office has never, ever had a hiring problem or a retention problem. Right now, we are supposed to have 187 deputies. We're down to 72. 72 sheriff deputies, ladies and gentlemen. 72. You may hear that they're leaving because of pay, or they're not being paid enough. But if you look back at those deputies, the one that just got done yelling, those deputies are set to retire.
No, I'm not.
Those deputies are set to retire. Several of them will stay at the department, and, well, Do you plan on staying at the department till you retire?
When I retire.
Absolutely. So many
I'll be
deputies,
when I decide.
many deputies go to the sheriff's office and they stay there to retire. He came in under Jim Murphy, set to retire. But many sheriff deputies today are leaving. They're leaving back to back. We have never had a hiring problem. We have never had a retention problem. Right now, the problem is retaining sheriff deputies. And we have to be able to retain sheriff deputies. So goes the sheriff's office, so goes the courts, so goes our city. And I stand strong on criminal justice reform. I stand strong on public safety because I'm all about public safety. You guys deserve an effective and efficient sheriff's office. Nowhere else have you ever heard of judges in court say that I fear for my safety. Nowhere
That's right.
do they fear for their safeties.
Yeah. It's the
If
truth.
I have a security that I can't trust, somebody tell him he has to go. And that's what we're dealing with today. We're dealing with a sheriff's office who have failed you guys. I know, how many of you guys actually know what the sheriff's office do? How many, let's see a show of hands. How many actually know what the sheriff's office do? There's a problem. If you don't know what the sheriff's office do, and the current administration has been there in 8 years, something has to change. Something has to change. The reason being is you should know the net sales property taxes that come up. You should know if you're able or what time you can come try to apply for a CCW. You should know these things, but you don't. A lot of people don't know what the sheriff's office do. I have been on the campaign trail since May. And the number one thing that I hear a lot is, what do the sheriff's office do? I didn't know we had a sheriff's office. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with hope and determination. And I'm dependent on your support. Your vote is your voice. And it is a powerful tool for change here in our community. I will knock doors by myself in my community. I will make calls by myself in my community. I don't need a group of people. I don't need anybody else to speak for me because I can speak for myself. Today I stood in a budget hearing and it was very disappointing. It was disappointing to know that each one of those deputies that you see today are getting paid $32,600, and on the books they're supposed to be paid starting at $42,000 a year. That's a problem. My plan is to bring the sheriff deputies up to $62,000 a year. We can start back by transporting federal prisoners to and from court. We can start taking over the jail, and we can do our duties. If the judges want bailiffs in their courtroom, that's our main priority. We'll have bailiffs in every courtroom. If we need to transport prisoners through the wee hours of the night, that's our main priority. We will do that. If the police department call upon us to come in during a riot or a civil protest, we will be there. But right now, service has left our public service office. And it's time to put public service back into our sheriff's office. To learn more about my platform, you can visit my website at Montgomery, 4sheriff.com. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.